Okay. Camera's not working here for some reason. It'll pop on sooner or later. Hey, Lawrence.
Hey, how are you
How are
doing? Amazing job again, Anthony, on what you put together.
Thanks.
Your team,
Sure was, man. Great job.
insane. It's just so impressive. Yeah.
Thanks. Good team effort this time around. That's for sure. This week was a lot. I'm trying to share the screen. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. Okay, well, the rosters are coming together here. Just the way I had to pull it in. It takes common names, and I gotta go through and make sure the common names are right. So if it's a Jackson, it may have pulled in the wrong Jackson. I just couldn't pull it in by player ID number. But for the most part, got good rosters right now. But so it should be done. Should be done by tomorrow, I would guess. But you with us?
I am.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
I know you didn't know I was here because I have no TV in the background.
Right. Good point.
My wife went to bed. She has to work tomorrow, so I'm just watching the game on mute.
Which one? USC or Oregon Stanford or all the above?
USC.
I figured that one must be a blowout. Is it?
No, it's 14-7 and Arizona State's driving.
Oh, what a new coach can do.
The quarterback's a beast, man. He's a big guy that can run.
Same guy as last year. I haven't watched an Arizona State game yet this year.
It's the first one for me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget his name, but yeah, he's good. But Herm just got fired, right? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Grab my lighter. Hold on. Right back.
So anybody made any trades yet?
Okay. So we have Arizona up. We could spin through each team a little bit. Spend a little more time on the ones that we, the three of us that are on. Maybe Dennis joins, others join. They can add commentary on theirs too. But first, global comments on today. I thought that was good. I think going forward, there's a really good chance we don't do silent auction. We do this way. I like this way better than silent because you get an idea of where the bid is, and you can maybe throw your hat in, maybe not. If you sort of extrapolate it to the good players, right, more than just the $1 situation.
Right.
And it moved nice and fast too. It did. We couldn't do 15 seconds for the good guys, but we would just adjust it. First hour or two be 30 seconds, and then that last bit, we shouldn't go more than a couple hours in the future. Last bit would go down to 15 or 10 seconds or whatever, like we were doing today. So
yeah, I think it went well.
Yeah. Love getting done early. I mean, that's a beautiful surprise when you're doing 1,500 players every minute. We did 1,300 players. So Arizona, first look here. I haven't really looked at anybody. Dennis is with us. Welcome, Dennis.
I'm just going to listen in for a little bit, but I'll jump in later.
Sure, yeah. Seattle, second to last team anyway. So Arizona, Kirk Cousins quarterback. McCaffrey at half in his 99 carries. So Jordan Howard, 86. Two good runners there, just a bit stressed for carries. And we've all been there with teams like that, where you really have to try to manage to stay in the game for the first half and then hopefully have plenty of carries in the second. It seems like that might be Arizona's fate unless they pick up a higher carry guy. Keenan Allen, And Bateman will certainly be good next year. I have him in autumn wind. Weak card this year, especially deep. But he's a good 15. Maybe not a keeper. So Keenan is the main guy. Your deep threat is Deontay Harris. Tight end, Gerald Everett can catch the ball pretty well. Johnny Smith is a B-yak. Along the line, got some pass blocking issue here at guard. 2. And then on D, we don't have ratings yet. We can just sort of take a look through. Shaping up. It seems like a lot of guys want to be 3-4. Hello, Michael. Just in the early trade talks, everyone's looking for a 5 nose tackle. Not everybody can have one. There's just not that many. I mean, I forget the exact numbers. I remember, I think it's like 8 that would qualify. Maybe a bit more. When you take the 6 DTs, I still think it's 8. I don't know, but not close to 24. If everybody wants to play 3-4, there'd be a lot of 4 nose tackles out there, and that would be the case here if Tuttle goes down to a 4. It ends. Certainly capable middle linebacker, a little bit weak on the outside. That's for sure. And a fairly stout defensive backfield. I mean, just one. There's going to be this. This is going to be an active trade market, very active, as everybody sort of plays musical chairs with their holes, right? Tries to find that partner to fill in the holes, and just about everybody has holes. When you're spending 56 on Cousins, you're going to have holes. That's in Arizona. On to Atlanta's next. Here we are. So, speaking of holes, Heineke right at the top. Talked about him last week. So trying to switch that up. And then we'll go most likely a lot of pro set with Chuba Hubbard back there with Devontae Williams. Maybe a lot of 3 wide, 2 running back as well, depending on how the run blocking settles out after trading. The pass catchers are, full yak, everywhere yak. Just doing for my Chargers team in USFFL stock team. Just doing the charts for my guys on expected yards per flat pass right. Just sort of always chart that out. Like if I need 3 yards, who do I need to go to, right? Need to know who that guy is versus 4 yards. It can be very different. If you need 3 or 4 yards, it could be a very different world. And I just, for the first time, layered in yak on top of it because I just started doing this last year and layered in yak. And when you layer in yak, it gets kind of complicated because you have to look at your quarterback and the chances of hitting his yak. And then you got to subtract the yard on it. It's some pretty in-depth excelling. But bottom line is that yak makes a huge difference. So these guys will be helpful in the yak. And I understand why people want to run 3-4s if there's going to be people out there trying to work in yak left and right like me.
Yeah, this is my first time playing yak, so I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out.
I mean, I've said it on a couple broadcasts. I don't know if I've said it here, but to me, it's a very good rule, and I think more draft leagues should use it. Honestly, there's pros and cons to everything, by the way. But knowing you can get 4 yards on a 3rd and 3, if you look at your flat pass card, it's a little bit too strong in terms of knowing what yards you're going to get. Yak adds the variability that even if you hit that 6 or 7 on your own card, it's -1. You got to make up the rest of the yards in yak. And that variability makes 3rd and 4th and short a little bit more realistic. It actually encourages a little bit more runs, more what you actually see in the game, in real life game, because people don't want to take that chance. They don't want to. Oh shoot! I look at my card now. I got an uphill battle. If you got a couple -1s on there, your guys need to come through and not get that 7 roll, not get those other rolls for Yak. So tight ends, my Yak's not pulling in here, but Parm's a B, which is nice to have to the extent he plays a lot. On the line, it's okay. It's not bad. I think it's a lot like everybody else's, where none of us. We'll see if anybody's thrilled with their line. I'm not thrilled. I like 3 7s. That's nice, and 2 5s. Okay, that's good. Pass blocking can hold it down, but the run blocking is 1 6 along the line. So, if I do go 3 wide 2 running back, it's going to be an issue as the 4s get pegged down to 0. Defensive side of the ball is pretty solid, though. And not spending on the quarterback need to pay off somewhere, and this is pretty much where it did. So having Vea in the middle is good. DJ Jones is expendable. It's good. He's a good trade chip. Probably a keeper. Even at 25 because he's moving a nose. Seiler, I wish I could get another 5. Tried at the end. Just missed getting a 5 at defensive end for the other side to pair with 6. In the middle, TJ Edwards, and then a scrub, but that 4 Devin Bush will actually matter if I do run 3-4, which I probably will since I have Vea. And then plenty of outside linebackers, so likely to move at least one of these guys. Milano, Bolton, Van Der Esch, and Bosa. I didn't have much pass rush, so it's going to be difficult for me to get rid of Bosa. So most likely it's going to be Bolton or Van Der Esch that depart the Falcons. Speed is just a next year guy. And then depth at corner, 6'5", and I need a strong safety pair with Von Bell. So the holes are strong safety and quarterback. I wouldn't mind shoring up my offensive line, I think, like most everybody else. Defense has a really, really good shot at getting good. So that's going to be key. I don't know how many of us are going to get it. It's a good question. I haven't looked at it yet. We're going to, hopefully, as I build out the rest of this file, we'll get a good view on it. But I doubt there's many. And that means just need a quarterback that can be an upgrade to Heineke to try to get this ball down the field. Going to be the big question mark going into the training season. Anything on Atlanta? Carolina. Bullock here is in yellow because he's going to be cut. We got that cut in. So Hurts and Trubisky. Not quite the right year for Hurts. So Carolina could be looking for a quarterback as well. Be 48 for him, though. Questionable whether he'd be a keeper there. Really depends on how this quarterback market develops here over this next year. Next year's draft is always – the second one's always very interesting. A lot of inflated values. Second one, which is what we're going to have. Najee Harris, good long-term guy, but not much on that card this year. Certainly gives you the carries. Justin Jefferson, he's scary. St. Brown is scary and likely to improve, but he's at 46. Obviously, he's banged up now a little bit. Goddard at tight end. Not the Goddard that we've been used to last couple of years. Didn't get the 6. All the way down to a 4 run block, but it brings you Yak. He's useful still. And then along the line, good center. Nelson at guard. Can't do any better than that. And only $40. I think it's a pretty good deal for Nelson. Probably a keeper there. But a hole at tackle. Looks like I need to. Not sure why there's not a run rating or pass rating. I'll check it out. But at least as of right now, before the error checks in the rosters, it looks like we have a hole at tackle here. The defensive side, nothing along the line. Holes there. Enough at defensive end to hold down the fort. ILB holding on, but 4-4 will do the job. TJ Watt on the outside. Judon on the other side. So pass rush city here. And that's a good way to make up for some ground in other areas. Defensive backfield. A 5-5 and a 4-5 at safety, and a 6 and a 4. So work to be done for Zach, just like everybody else. But if there is that hole at tackle, that's one to fill. And then lots of holes along the defensive line. Can't live with zeros up there, you know. Interestingly, I mean, there's a couple stock teams. Chargers are one, all zeros across the line. So, I mean, it's inevitable that somebody would end up with some weak inside linemen. Just the way that the card set is this year. Anything on Carolina?
Well, you know, I know Justin Jefferson's probably the best in the league, but $81 for a wide receiver. Am I the only one that thinks that's a little bit outrageous?
Yeah, I think $81 for anybody's outrageous.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's too much. Too much.
Yeah, I think we all kind of reached on the quarterbacks early, definitely.
Sure did. Paying the price. But Jefferson is a reach of the receiver. I mean,
Yeah.
Can't do much better, but he will not be kept next year. Shocked if he did. Chicago, Goff and Brissett. So, you know, Goff looks pretty decent for next year, but still 40 is got to be very decent. Still a good, decent card this year as well. Probably a little bit upgraded next year if he holds this current course. Josh Jacobs, good at halfback. Thielen, along with Devonta Smith, who's looking like he'll likely rise. I would be shocked if he's not mid-first round in Frozen Tundra next week at this point. And Robert Woods is good short. Not much yak coming out of here, though. The only yak is Josh Jacobs up here, and he's paired with a somewhat weak flat pass card, which matters too. Can't forget about that. The tight ends leave a bit to be desired. Center's good. Good pass blocking, 7s and 5s. Looks a lot like everybody else's lines. No 6 on the run, but rated guys everywhere except guard, where there's a 0 hole. But most of us have to live with that. Defensive line looks all right. Defensive ends holding on, but okay. 2 4s. Zach Cunningham in the middle. Shaquille Barrett paired with a 4-4. And then safeties looking 2 5s, looking good. And a lot of 4 corners. 4s are wild at the corner. Anything on Chicago? On to Cincinnati. Feel free to comment, Dennis, if you're able. Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback and Davis Mills. I mean, you know, there's a basis here. You could probably move one of these guys if your price is low enough, Riley, if you're listening. Because if people get piggish on quarterback trades, I mean, this is the way you can extract some value, you know, from 2 guys that you wouldn't think would give you much. But this, you know, Teddy would be an upgrade for a few people. For sure. Mills, too, even.
Hey, I'm here. So I don't know how much of an upgrade Mills is playable this year. He needs to come through a little bit better, but Teddy's great. Teddy has a good card for this year. He'll be fun to play with.
Mills,
Yes, he does.
if you're willing to trade for very little, there's probably a team or 2 that would consider Mills, present company included.
Yeah, but what's the point of trading for very little when you can hold on to him and hope he comes through next year? You know what I mean?
Depends. I mean, fill a hole, right? I mean, it all depends, right? I mean, just if you got a 0 sitting at, well, we'll find out where. It might cost you a lot to fill it.
True.
So, halfback of Michelle and Henderson. So, Rams backfield with Gainwell. Elijah Moore at 21. Probably a good keeper, right in the border. As Watkins, a really nice deal at 1. Likely he's doing pretty well. He's getting deep looks. Nichols Jones is already obviously a big deep threat. So a lot of deep opportunities there. Not really the quarterbacks to match with it, but you don't need that necessarily.
No yak at all, really. Not much.
Not much.
Hurts.
Yep.
Well, guys, I'm not a big proponent of the yak rule, and I don't go throwing a ton of flats trying to get those A's and B's and whatever. I just call my game as I do. I dislike the yak rule. I know Anthony says that. Oh yeah, it's too easy to pick up first downs on those 3rd and 5 calls. Well, that's the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why teams are going for it like crazy on 4th down. So, to me, I don't like the total randomness of the yak ratings. That's just me. So when I was drafting and I was helping Ryder, yak did not come into consideration at all for me. I play in the league that uses
staring at a quarterback card, and just looking at completions up and down. It's especially even more so in draft, because I think the stock cards, especially this year, do a pretty good job of shutting down flat pass one man. Less so in stock. A lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
I went through the whole first day not even knowing we used the yak rule, but it worked out okay for me in my draft. But I should pay more attention sometimes, I guess. But like I said, I got A's and B's, so I'm okay.
And just one more thing too on it is that it's nice when you have a 24-team league that when you're going to have, your bottom half dozen quarterbacks are not going to be very good, no matter what you do. And take a look at what some of these guys went for, right? And the quarterbacks that are subpar, it gives you another pathway on offense to explore, to try to keep up with the Mahomeses of the world, which is tough to do if you don't have another pathway.
Are we also using the flat pass run as pass or whatever that?
We're not. We're not using that.
I hate that one more than anything.
Yeah. The offensive line is got a little problem at tackle with the 4-pass block there. If you notice any errors, guys, just speak up, because these have not been error checked, and there's going to be errors here for common last names. So just if you see it, just let me know. Flag it. I'll catch them later.
So what about guys like Brent Breederson who don't have the rating there? Like, do you want us to tell you that, or are those 0-0s, or you just haven't filled them in yet?
Haven't filled them in yet. There's a bunch to fill.
Got it.
Yeah, you missed the preamble. This is very much work in progress.
Got it. His strength is in the secondary. 2 6s at corner, a 6 at safety, free safety.
Big time, yeah.
So he'll be one of the guys who has good pass defense, or good, yeah. He'll have good pass defense.
Right.
I think average against the run. I'm guessing. I haven't really calculated it out yet, but there wasn't a lot of 5s and stuff. Who's going to play a 4-3? So with a 9, 18, 5, 10, 18 plus 7. So then plus a strong safety or either safety. I heard Michael say
your highest safety. You're basically your highest.
So 6, he'll have Kevin Byard 6. 20. Yeah, so he'll be average, I think, against the run.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, I think he's like 29 or something like that. So.
Any more thoughts on Cincy?
No. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun team to play with. I wish the running backs were a little better for him. The Bridgewater card is sneaky good, so we'll see what happens.
Big Ben at quarterback. Get one more good card out of him for 30. And that's a good example of somebody that I just miscalculated. I was off. Didn't imagine that one card would go for 30, but there you go. It's a decent card. Singletary is the only back that has carries if all this holds up. Jawan's be moving. He'd be moving to the defensive backfield, obviously. On the receiver, DK Metcalf, that's good. Emmanuel Sanders, that's good. Devontae Parker, good card. A lot of talent there. Along the line, there is good protection for the pass and really good run blocking. Probably the best run blocking out there. Take a look at that. 3 6s.
And that Ernest Jones is a running back.
Heard. And you've got tackle 4s, linebacking core that is decent enough. No superstars there. Landry with the annoying 1 asterisk. Really mess up your safety blitz. 6 and 2 5s at corner. So just a couple out there with that sort of access cornerback. Cleveland is one of them. Already with decent safeties. So nice defensive backfield.
He's got 6.55 at corner.
6'5" a corner.
Wow.
So pretty well put together team, I would say overall.
Yes.
Moving on to Dallas. Josh Allen. We need 1 cut here. Locke or Glennon will be cut. Presumably Glennon. And then Zeke in the backfield with Fournette. So sort of last generation of halfbacks, but they're holding up their end fine. Plenty of carries there. 1 strong receiver in CeeDee Lamb. Kyle Pitts, of course. Basically count him as a receiver. And he's real strong. Obviously, incredible flat pass right card. Center is good. Some cuties is run rating. But it seems like a hole of guard here, which is not the end of the world. If you're going to have a hole anywhere, you're probably going to have it at right guard where you need the second linebacker to blitz to have it mean anything. Good defensive tackles, including the inside rush of Jonathan Allen. Paid 42 for it, but he's a rare breed here in this set. It's really nice not to line up against Jonathan Allen if you have a weak guard. That's guaranteed. And then look at this, Aaron Donald. So huge defensive line, maybe the best out there. Paid for it in linebackers though.
Yeah, he's trying to trade Chase Young for a linebacker.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Erwin James, Jonathan Abram, and then problems at cornerback. You should be trying to trade for a cornerback. Or a linebacker, I guess, right? Cornerback's probably a higher price. Any thoughts on Dallas?
Yeah, we'll have to see how the Allen card is. I know it doesn't look that great, but who knows? It might play better.
Maybe the key in a lot of trades here are needed. Fill some holes. Has some depth to it, though. Denver's missing 2 guys. The only one that I show actually missing roster spots. That's why they're highlighted here. Wilson and Keenum at quarterback. What do we got at running back? We got Dillon and Freeman. I don't think that's accurate. Right there, the last one. Mark Brown is decent deep threat, and T. Higgins, somewhat deep threat anyway. So decent enough receivers. Tight end, not a strength, but not so. Oh, there's Darren Waller. Okay, so there's Waller. Waller, not bad at all, obviously. Then all of us would like to have him. Good pass blocking, typical run blocking. Have a 0 and a couple 4s here and there, a little bit of strength from Slater. Hole at defensive end. Hole at outside linebacker. Hole at cornerback. It's running with 1 right now. And 2 good safeties. Thoughts on Denver? Looking through, it's really interesting how well the talent's been distributed. It really has been distributed well.
Yeah, the auction format, it's a long time coming to our game. I think it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we all learned a lot. We all love to redo it, but
Yes,
man, it's pretty evenly.
it is. quarterback here for Detroit. Looks like it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Going to be pretty mean next year if he keeps this up. Eckler is a force in the backfield. Really underrated card. Solid card. He brings everything. Really good wrong running. You could ask for more from the right running, but it's not awful. Great yak. Catches the ball. Even if the yak wasn't there, he's a force. He's a really good back. Wide receiver, Cortland Sutton and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper are going to be the two main guys. Tight end, not much there. Along the line, looks like some weakness here, if all this is true. At guard especially. Chris Jones, really nice to have at defensive tackle. He went for 37. What did where the Washington guy go for again? 39, 40, 42 maybe? So right there with him. Clowney, your 5 linebackers. You're going to need one at least. 2 5 cornerbacks. Barely holding on at safety, but the holes are covered. So Detroit, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the Achilles heel this year probably. We got Josh Allen moved down defensive end, so that's going to help in that position. That Josh Allen right here. And
He's also got Parsons. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I think I did. Parsons.
Yeah.
So
that'll be
Allen
huge.
will move to linebacker, right? So it doesn't help you much in at least one of the ratings. So why didn't you grab Allen, Mr. Stucci?
Which Allen?
Josh, not the quarterback, the Jacksonville defender.
Was he in today?
Yes, today. The third or fourth guy up.
What is he? 312?
He's 12. Yeah,
Hold on.
maybe star 2. I thought he was going to be yours. I had him pegged.
Oh,
really-
outside linebacker?
He's going to
Yeah,
be. I mean, he's going to be
no.
around for a while. I mean, he's a keeper. If there ever is a keeper, he's one.
I couldn't start him and
Probably
keep
if-
my defense the grade that I needed.
At $4, probably one of the best keepers out there.
Right.
Butch,
Yeah.
take us through.
The worst team in the league, probably. I think. I don't know.
That's
Panicked on
Not
Jimmy
true.
G. I did, but the trade offers I was getting today, the quarterbacks actually were either equal to or not as good as Garoppolo. So I'm going to stay with him. Probably, unless something dazzles me. I got the running backs. I'm sorry?
Which was like, Tannehill is not as good as Garoppolo. Davis
I
Mills
know,
is not as
that's
good as Garoppolo. I mean, there's not.
That's why I'm going to stick with him. This
These
year,
guys, maybe in other sets they would have been better, but in this set, the guys that are on the block are just, they don't have that cachet that they usually do.
Yeah. The best quarterback that I heard about that could be available was Stafford, but Willie now with Tua up in the air, who knows what he's going to do. So, but yeah, I took Jimmy G, 32. I'll live with him for a year. Everybody knows my mistake with Miles Sanders, but hey, he might get me a defensive end that I need really bad. So I really focused on the running game and the wide receivers. I think that's the strength of this team. And Kelsey at tight end. Yeah, you get down there, it looks ugly, doesn't it? That offensive line's pretty ugly. But we'll live and die with it. Yeah, the defensive line's pretty ugly too. Just keep going, Anthony. It gets worse. It gets better at the corners.
It does.
So
Yes.
that's where the strength is. I'm going to definitely have a weak pass for our weak run defense. I tried to make up for it a little bit with pass rush. So we'll see how that plays out. And like I said, we'll see how it ends up after trading season's done. I'm not done yet. I don't think. So
Well, yeah, your skill guys are scary.
on offense. Yeah, and my
Yeah.
corners. That's about it.
Yeah, what you can get for Sanders, and maybe if you could move, are you in the mood to move Debo? Right. I mean, he probably would fetch you a pretty penny.
We'll see how it plays out. Actually, Chubb's getting a little bit more interest, so Chubb's obviously going to be a little higher priced, even though Sanders has a better card, I think. So it'll be interesting to see.
Indy. Now, Michael, did you take Indy for today?
I did.
So why don't you walk us through best you can?
Yeah, it was 24 $1 players. Yeah, it's hard running both here, obviously. I don't no particular order really. Just kind of shored up the running back with some additional carries. Carson's a 1-year guy, but he's got an excellent card for this season. At wide receiver, I just wanted to kind of pick guys maybe that could be keepers for next year. Watkins, if he can stay healthy. Hollins, I'm not sure about him, but he's got some catches this season. And then a tight end, I needed.
That's
Go ahead.
Mac Hollins, not Justin.
Yeah.
I don't know who Justin is, but maybe he's Mac's brother. But Mac's the guy on the Raiders.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So
Yeah.
change his name. Anthony, I'm talking to you.
Well, I'll have to go through and do it systematically. It'll happen.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Got it,
And
got
then
it.
or I'll miss it, and everything else won't change. So yeah.
picked up Dwelly at tight end. He was all set at center, so I just kind of grabbed Larson and Feliciano. Maybe he'll have a decent card. Max Garcia plays a couple positions. He's a 0-4, so he's kind of flexible if you get somebody hurt. I added Dan Moore. I think he's having a pretty good season with the Steelers. I picked up Zane Gonzalez. I like him as a kicker, and the kick return's not too bad. And then I added $1 Taven Bryant, Rashad Lawrence. Maybe Lawrence can get a decent nose tackle grade for him next season. Trey Hendrickson. No, he already had all them. Oh, he had no outside linebackers, so it was thin picking at the outside linebacker with $1. So I grabbed a couple guys. I actually wanted the guy Dennis put up, the outside linebacker for the Falcons, but I thought I put him up. I was confused. And then Singleton, I was just trying to kind of get him some grades at this point. And then I grabbed, he had one corner coming in today. So I wanted to make sure I grabbed him 2 corners, or at least so if he goes nickel, he has another 4. And then the last DBs were pretty much just picks really for next year. Patrick Peterson's having a decent year. Landon Roberts is having a decent year plugging the run, and the other guy was I forget who it was. Yeah, down there. So all in all, for $1, the best you can do. Oh, and I got the punter. Oh, and the kick returners. I think I got 3 kick returners. I think there's one more. Hold on, I'll give you the name. I wrote it down here.
Tim will get you carries, but will he get you yards? He sort of feasts off the defensive cards in the stock world. Everett Slater's a nice right runner.
And Nico Collins is the wide receiver.
Yeah, with Houston.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on Indy?
Just best wishes out to Mike Roses. He had to miss today's draft because he had a heart scare, a heart condition. He had to stay in the hospital for tests today. So best wishes out to Mike.
Yeah, best wishes, Mike.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, Avery Williamson was the other kick returner. He plays another position, so you probably have him listed as another position.
And Jacksonville, do we have Bryant on? We have Aiden on. So,
Oh, I see
Burrow-
Brian there though. Is that
was
Hi.
Brian there? Oh, hey,
yeah,
Brian.
at the bottom?
This is Aiden. I can speak a little bit on his team though.
Sure, go for it.
So one thing when I was talking with him about it was he really wanted a good running back and a good quarterback. And obviously he got it. He paid a premium for it, but he got it. And then really everything else was, I feel like he just focused on offense. Really, he spent a lot of money on his offensive line, which I think he expressed a little bit of regret on with how much he spent on it, considering the guys that fell later in the draft. But overall, he seemed quite happy with his team.
Yeah, Burrow
Point,
is
though.
just a fantastic young quarterback. His card's great this year, and both Khalil Herbert and Dalvin Cook will work well with him as a quarterback.
I think that's a really good point, though, on the spending on the line, offensive line. I regret that too. Some of the spending I did there, I didn't do a ton, but the bit I did, I was like, that was not worth it. You get some decent guys later for pennies.
Yeah, you saw some 4.7s today going for $1 or $2.
Yeah, no, I made the same mistake as well. You get caught up in the draft, you forget to look at all the guys left.
Anything else on Jacksonville?
No, I do know he accidentally bid $2 on a guy he didn't mean to bid $2 on. He was mad about that, but that was about it.
Well, scroll down. How bad is the defense? It doesn't look that bad to me.
No, it's not bad at all.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be good against.
Yeah.
You think he's going to be good against the run?
That's the thing, though. It's kind of rough to get good against the run. I was like surprised at how the calculations are coming out.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a lot of average and even some pours in there. It's a little strict. Andy's a little strict on this one,
yeah,
which
absolutely.
is okay.
Yeah, I mean,
One
even
other-
teams with the 6 safeties can't get good run.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Not a lot of good defensive lineman ratings, at least at DT.
Very true. Very true. We saw one team already with 3 zeros across the defensive line. If this early version is accurate, Vegas has Herbert. That helps. Kyle Walker is not a quarterback, obviously. He will move. DeAndre Swift at halfback, where most of the carries come from. Zach Moss will pitching a little bit. The other guys pitching a little bit too. Tyreek, that certainly is helpful. The rest of the receivers look a little bit down. Same at tight end. But certainly a capable offense with Herbert, Swift, and Hill. Center looks good enough. Guard looks like there's a hole. If that holds up, then Trent Brown and Malata at tackle. Defensive line full of 4s. Defensive end full of 4s. Inside linebacker full of 4s. So no holds per se. Safeties look good. Cornerbacks both 4s. That's Vegas. Miami, I don't think we have Willie on. Talked about Butch mentioned Tua and Stafford and what he might do as a result of Tua being banged around. That's going to be interesting. I'll be glad he has it right now. Maybe he sticks with it, like Butch said. Taylor, obviously a force. And then Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs, look out. With those kind of receivers, don't have to worry too much about your tight ends. The line, though, especially a guard, if this holds up, I'm not sure if that's actually going to hold up, though. These guys need ratings. Tyron Smith and Eric Fisher at tackle. Got Al Woods. You can move him to nose if he wants to as a 5. 4s at defensive end. Linebackers troubles. Safety good, and then cornerback troubles. No cornerbacks currently. So linebacker and quarterback holes for Willie. Any thoughts on Miami?
Yeah, Willie reached out to me already about getting some corners.
He has a ton of halfbacks. I liked his pick in the end game of Duke Johnson, but I don't even see him on the roster. I look in the wrong spot.
Oh, it's in the QB section. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But he needs to That's too many halfbacks. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Right.
6, 7. With 46 roster spots, there's no way you can carry that many halfbacks.
Marco Wilson's a corner. He's
Got
in the
it.
halfback list.
Yeah,
Still a lot.
But
yeah,
yeah,
still.
yeah, you're
The
right.
point is still, yeah.
Oh, Albert Wilson's a wide receiver too, so that's yeah. Maybe it's just a little miss. But yeah, at the end game, no reason to bid on guys like I don't know Marlon Mack and not committed halfbacks. So
Yeah, maybe we'll see a couple on the supplemental if they're not moved.
trade me Duke Johnson, Willie.
Minnesota, Aaron Rodgers a quarterback, so that will get a lot done all by itself. Saquon in the backfield.
And honestly, for $70, that's compared to what some of these other quarterbacks are going for. That's a bargain.
Yeah. Yep, especially this year with that card. Van Jefferson, three good deep threats. They get 4 with Ruggs, so bombs away. Njoku, a tight end. Good line. One of the better lines we've seen. Defense is got some pass rush. So front 7 looks good enough for sure. And how about the DBs? These are pretty decent too. So this is a pretty, as far as holes, this team seems to have fewer of them than most.
Yeah, I noticed he saved a lot of money at a wide receiver. Even though he got decent players, he didn't really put a lot of money into it. $13 for Ruggs is his most expensive person. And his line, where the other guys that had really good lines, you saw guys for $20 in that mix. His line, he didn't spend, other than Andrew Thomas, he got 4 other guys in the, $12, $13, $7.6. So it was really bargain basement shopping, and he got a well-rounded team, I think, as a result.
Yeah, I think so. This seems to be one of the better teams out there. Not only is there very few holes, but obviously the exclamation point Aaron Rodgers. Look out.
Right. Best quarterback in the set.
The Patriots. Michael.
All right, yeah. I mean, obviously, I wanted Rodgers at obviously number 1, but I was a little nervous it was going to get crazy, and Minnesota did bid $100, so I don't think I would have bid 101, so I would have lost Rodgers. So I'm pretty happy with Brady. I had him kind of the way I play. He's probably the second best quarterback for the way I play. And I don't know. I try to be conservative early, spending money. I ended up with the 2 running backs. I spent money on them. I love the Johnson card. I have it in another league. It's just a killer to play against. And then wide receiver, I kind of waited too long on wide receiver. I kind of got stuck, and there really wasn't much left. All the big guys were gone. So I ended up with Hopkins and Mooney there. And then I took a bunch of $1 wide receivers. I mean, cheap wide receivers. Hopefully they'll be around next year. And then a tight end. I want to play 2 tight ends, so I went with Schultz and Knox. And I got Bates today by accident, so I'll end up probably having to trade him. And then I have a hole at center. I screwed up. I didn't realize how many centers were left in the draft. And the first day, I think I could have got Bradbury maybe for $10, a 4-5 center. So I ended up with a 0-5 at center. It's
Well, yeah, you can move Karras there.
oh
It's 7.
yeah, that's right. I could move him there. I have the 5-5 Connor Williams. I don't know if he's listed somewhere else on there, but yeah, I think I have Connor Williams also. He's a 5-5. I think I grabbed him today. But I have a lot of depth because I had the money today. I could pretty much pick who I wanted to pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I have quite a bit of depth. I
Talk
really
about
need.
that. I mean, talk about what you were thinking going into today. I mean, what was your? You could say that. What was your wish list? I mean, did you have like 3 must-haves or?
Yeah, I had a wish list. Hufanga was one. I wanted him badly. I really needed a 4 or 5 outside linebacker, and there was only one left. It was Zaire Franklin, and I screwed up because I didn't put in my auto bid high enough, and Brian sniped me at the end with all the money I had left. So I basically wrote down every single guy that I wanted. I wanted Stephon Gilmore as a keeper for next year. I wanted Yannick Ngakwe as an outside pass rusher. I had another outside pass rusher that I wanted, D end, and I accidentally bid on someone else. I accidentally bid on Royce Newman, so that took that roster spot away from me. I wanted Gunner at the kick returner because he could be the lone kick returner and punt returner. That would open up 3 roster spots I could use for other players. I wanted, Connor Williams was a guy I got today. Basically, I wrote down a bunch of guys, and Zay Jones was number 1. Juju Smith-Schuster. I wanted McCoy as a backup quarterback. I grabbed 2-4 nose tackles. I was going to play 3-4. I had that figured out, and it's tough running 2 teams. I wanted Charles Leno at offensive tackle, and I didn't realize he was drafted, and I missed him. So I ended up with Cam Robinson instead. And that was pretty much it. I wanted Mario Addison as my other defensive end to pass rush, but like I said, I bid on somebody by accident, so I lost that roster spot. So I have a hole at center, and I have a hole at center. I only have one center. I drafted Andre James. He's a 0-5, so I can either use him or I can move, as you said, Karras into center. As a 0
What is your cornerback situation? This is probably not accurate. What is your cornerback situation?
I got 3-4s a corner.
That can play boundary.
Yeah.
2. Okay, got it.
Yeah. 3-4 corners that can play corner. But I mean, I regret not spending enough money on some positions, but it was nice today, pretty much being able to decide whatever I wanted. I made a bunch of mistakes today, which is really making me mad. I'm not happy with the results today, but I'm a little too hard on myself, I think.
Well, I think top to bottom, you have a real strong team, and you don't have any holes to fill when it's all said and done. And Brady and Mitchell/Johnson, I mean, that's a real battery. I mean, it may not be the biggest names in Johnson and Mitchell, but that's, like you said, Johnson's card is money. God forbid you guys wrong.
Yeah, even Trey Sermon actually has a decent card for 1 year.
Anything else on New England?
Yeah, there's Connor Williams. He's in the halfback section.
Got it. Okay, New Orleans. So John's team is Matt Jones and Melvin Gordon and the good Latavius Murray card. So fine there. Receivers a little bit on the weaker side for sure. Tight ends, not much there. So the receiving doesn't hold up its end, but a good quarterback halfback combo is enough to carry the team. The line looks fine and dandy. It's like we'll need a kicker cut. Harrison Phillips and Dalvin Tomlinson are the makings of a really good 4-3 with good ends, good middle linebacker, very good pass rush out of OLB with no threes there either. You get those, Miller and Golden, those rare asterisk linebackers that don't also carry a 0 rating against the pass. So take that. 2 good safeties, needs help at corner if this is accurate. So altogether, if receivers are weakness, it's not the end of the world. And if the hole is only corner, then that can, in theory, be filled. At least with a 4. Not a bad team at all. Anything on New Orleans? The Jets. Derek Carr at quarterback. That's good. Check. Derrick Henry. Check. And others in the cast of thousands. Receiver, Cooper Kupp, check. So top of the line offensive talent. Kittle as well. Throw that on top. He paid a price somewhere as we scroll down here. Let's take a look. Guard, yeah, seems to be paying a price there. And tackle, so some offensive line woes as far as pass blocking goes. Defensive line, paying a price there a little bit, for sure. Defensive ends, holding on with 4s. Linebackers could use some help. Got Harrison Smith for 42, 6'6", and 1 cornerback. So, gonna have to use some of these. Maybe Rashad Penny might be marketable for the right person. Fill some line or defensive holes, but there's the talent there to do it. Or trade away one of the big pieces. I mean, what would you get for Henry if you traded a big piece? Be interesting to see if any of those big pieces move. Teams like that have a bunch of holes. Do you trade your star, especially when you have multiple stars? You trade Cooper Kupp, right? Is that the better move? Is that what he has? Does he have Kupp, or does New Orleans have Kupp? He has Kupp. Might look at that. See what he can get before you dangle Henry out there.
Yeah, that Rashard Penny card is really good too that he has.
Yeah. Penny's a no. You need somebody else with Penny.
Right.
As long as you have
Carries.
another back, yeah.
Right.
Anything else on the Jets? The Giants. Scott, are you on? I don't think he is. He said he had other things to do. So Tannehill and Lamar. So obviously unlock some of that value if he so desires a quarterback. Mara or Darrell. Solid. Ricard. Receivers looking good with Deontay and Mike Williams. Tight end. Not a big name there, but Jared Cook's okay. Jared Cook's okay. Doesn't do much deep, but he can do fine, flat and short. Along the line, looks like there's troubles at guard and perhaps tackle. I'm betting there's an error here somewhere that needs to be filled. But nonetheless, even if there is a tackle, there's likely holes along the line. Reader can move to nose very easily. 3 defensive ends, that's 6s. So likely going to trade one of those. So there's a trading bit for you. Needs linebackers. And cornerbacks are 2 4s right now. It looks like short of safety. So moving Tannehill will get you something, probably. I don't know how much. But
yeah, and as bad as his card is kind of below average this year, what makes him maybe more appealing is his price tag. $25 for Tannehill is puts a new focus on it.
Yeah. And if he can decide he can live with Tannehill as a starter, he can actually fill a bunch of holes with Lamar if you wanted to move Lamar.
Right, but again, Lamar's card this year is nothing like it's next year's going to be much better for him as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I broadcast a game with Lamar a couple days ago and hit his end run snake eyes, and it was 21 yards. Next year that's 60.
79.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. As Brian and Huntley could unlock something here if somebody wanted to take a flyer on Huntley as their quarterback, but he can't complete anything short or long. Guessed right. So
yeah, his cards it might be better than Ryan's this year, right? In the set.
Depends on what you like. Depends on what you like. I mean, at least Ryan can complete a short pass. Huntley's completion on short pass is 3 and 11. So he has, 4 chances, right?
But this is not your typical Matt Ryan's card. It's weak.
Yes, it's weaker. Yes. So this is a weakness and a strength for Pittsburgh, I guess you could say, right? I mean, it's going to be difficult to trade up, but you could unlock some value if you trade Ryan or you trade Huntley. You could probably get something back. Damian Harris, good halfback.
He's got that crazy kick returner card in Keeney Nwangu.
Yes.
Greedy Williams is a cornerback. Just
For
a
sure.
lot of these guys seem to get miscategorized as halfback. Maybe that's what they played in like Pop Warner. So I guess this program is picking that up.
But what's basically what I had to do, and it's a long story. I couldn't pull it from the player ID, so I had to pull it from last names, and that's why anybody with a common last name is likely misplaced.
Right.
So Williams is going to be misplaced often, or Jackson. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I do want to add about the Ryan. He's got 13 yak flat right, which I don't know if there's anyone with more than that. And his flat right could be deadly in this league with a bunch of A's, yak players.
Good point. Sure. Along the line, hole at guard, if that is true. Otherwise, aces, 4 7s, and if that actually holds up, that's and there's some other guard out there on the roster. That's a pretty good line. 2 ends that are 6s. Nose tackle 4, that holds it down. Linebackers, well, there's no 0s, so that's good. Safeties are very strong. J.C. Jackson at cornerback along with a 4, so workable, definitely workable offensive line and defense. This team is going to be, pay the price for not spending big on the quarterback, and we'll see if that shows up in the wins and losses. Anything on Pitt? San Diego, speaking of spending big on quarterback, Mahomes for 82. Aaron Jones with his so-so card. Pollard, pretty decent card, and only getting better as time goes on at 22. Sean Jackson, obviously a receiver, joins Christian Kirk as the headliner here. Freiermuth, good to have as a blocking back 7-pass blocker with all the asterisks out there. Humphrey, 2 guards that look like they could use some help if that's true. So hole there. Another good set of ends to go with a 4 nose. And needs help at outside linebacker. And we'll have to decide whether he wants to live with this defensive backfield or not. They're not going to have the 2 4s at corner. And that might be something you just have to live with or try to trade up for a big price. Anything on San Diego? Lawrence, San Fran.
Well, I got shut out on the quarterbacks I wanted, and even the second tier guys like Goff and Jimmy G. I think I bid 30 for Jimmy G and Bush gone for 32. But actually, Jameis Winston does not have that bad of a card, especially for a $17 value. He's pretty good on the short pass because of a lot of must runs as well. Darnold mistake, Jordan Love mistake, at least at that price. I really wanted Juszczyk, but it's a lot of money, $30. I'm hoping that Reggie Gilliam has a good year and can maybe, I could let him Juszczyk go next year. I feel pretty good with the receivers. I wanted Degara, the tight end, maybe paid a little bit more. Got the good center for at least a year with the backup. My offensive tackle situation is kind of jacked up. I got some 4s late, 4-2s to go with 05s. I have 2 05 tackles and I have 2 4-2 tackles, so I could kind of mix them up. I could at least put 05s across the entire, or 5 pass blocking across the entire line at any time, and then I could have 4s across the entire line at any time. So going full house if I need the run. Obviously, the strength of my team is that nose tackle with Kenny Clark. I want some other potential nose tackles, but I ended up having to settle for his real life backup, TJ Slayton. Decent defensive ends, at least get some pass rush potential, and then the 2 6'6" middle linebackers. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. I was really running out of options with outside linebacker, so I got some guys that might be good for next year, especially and at least they're going to be good enough for this year, I think, especially with the 2-6 middle linebackers. But I would like to get another outside linebacker if possible. Safety, just a 4-5 free and a 4, and then the 6 cornerback of Trayvon Diggs. So.
Yeah, looks like you did a good job for having only $1 on a lot of those other players. You filled in holes nicely with players you're going to be able to play with.
Yeah, I felt like I did a decent job today of with the limited funds of, coming up. And I know that I thought I was bidding Jeff Wilson a little bit too early, and this guy from Atlanta snagged him for $2, and I was gonna try to wait a little bit longer. I was afraid he is going to be too irresistible for somebody to pick up, even with limited cash. So, and that's what happened.
But I love the outside linebackers for the future with Bradley Chubb and Odefe Aweye, whatever you say his name.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about that. As far as they're not great for this year, but at least I got something of value, I think. So I'm, I would consider trading Fred Warner, but I'm not sure. I might just ride with what I have there.
Oh yeah, I might be interested in Fred Warner.
Everybody would be interested in Fred Warner.
Take a look at New England and see what you want.
Yeah, Mike said he might be, so he probably won't be.
Okay, so I'll just won't look then at New England. Yeah.
Don't even bother with it.
Okay.
He might.
I'd just be wasting my time. So
we'll definitely be interested.
But I mean, it is nice to have that incredible run defense. And my run is going to be good for sure. And so having that those 2-6 middles and the 6 nose tackle is a nice feeling.
Huge. It should really help your red zone defense for sure. Among other things, short yardage generally, but red zone. I mean, that's just awesome. And you talked about it a lot last time. We talked about it last time, but yeah, that 18 points up the middle is just awesome. And the question is whether Jameis can do it for you. I mean, I like his card too, so I'm with you there. Especially at $17. Seattle.
Oh, do you need me to talk here?
If
I could do it all over again, I would have ponied up for one of the quarterbacks. I think everybody's realizing that. I liked Wentz. Got a bid too much for him. My son put in a bid at the last minute, and if he wouldn't have bid, I would have got him for like $29 or $28. Instead, he price and forced me to 40. So nice job. I'm hoping Zach Wilson actually does something, because he could be a good keeper if he really is, if he takes a leap. But that remains to be seen. I'll be keeping an eye on the Jets this year. I like James Robinson. I love James Robinson.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite guys to in strat and NFL and everything. Let's see. I got some good $1 guys. I mean, if they come through, sprinkled throughout the roster. Bryan Edwards has a good card. He's a buck, but he'll probably play this year. Got the double LKLP after Mike snaked me on Gunnar Olszewski today to free up roster spots. I messed up on my count somehow. I thought, scroll up a little bit. Like you have Dustin Hopkins as a tight end. He's not. He's a kicker. But I had, and Anthony Harris is a strong safety. So I didn't draft my third tight end blocking back because I had something. I thought I had more roster spots. So we'll figure that out. But I like my offensive line. The center's not great, but everybody's a 5 or better pass blocking. 2 6s, 2 5s run blocking. Grover Stewart. Right now I'm poor run defense. That's how crazy this system is. I got a 5 nose tackle. I got 4s at outside linebacker against the run, 4s at defensive end, and a 5 free safety. But it's like just a little bit short. So I'll need to get upgrade my strong safety, get a 4-6 in there or something like that to help push me over the edge, or get a 5 defensive end. So I should put out there James Smith-Williams is a starting guy for $1. Jonas Griffin's inside linebacker starting for $1. I like him. I like Achikunbo, DJ. All these guys are going to be good next year, I hope. Devon Diablo starting. Davon Hamilton's the starting nose tackle in Jacksonville. Justin Burris, I just got him for the 4. Jonathan Owens starting free safety in Houston. So I'm hopeful that some of these 4s can come through. I think the team will play good. I'm positive I will get average. And Wentz's card is better than people think because of the must-runs not being calculated in the ratings disc. He's like 15th, 16th, 17th, something like that. But he'll be okay. You know, he'll be better than you think, especially with my running backs.
Well, I love that line. I mean, that line is one of the best out there, for sure.
Yeah. So if I just don't throw it and run it all day, that could work. Yep. But I don't even know my yak ratings. What am I? I have Gronk's a B, DJ Moore's a B. So I got some yak guys. I didn't even pay attention to it. I got a lot of B's. So
Gronk's a monster.
You might like the rule after this season, Dennis.
I played with it before. I will never change my mind. I don't like it.
I'm telling you, haven't seen those B long gains.
On third and 6, when I roll a 7 on the quarterback card, but the parentheses is -2, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what am I even throwing it flat for? So,
right.
Anything else for Seattle?
I just have one question, Dennis. You said that you would have drafted differently if you knew that it was B status instead of whatever the first year status is. Are there any like specific moves you made that you would have done differently if you knew that it was B
I didn't
status?
say that. I didn't say that. Somebody else. I do remember.
Someone else said that.
I think it was
Yeah.
Scott Kaplan.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. My bad.
Somebody said it would totally change their draft strategy. But for me, what I would have changed is, God dang it, I need Russell Wilson. I don't care if I have to pay $85 for him. I should have ponied up. Tony, I'll be sending you an email.
Yeah, have you tried? Yeah, that's the question.
No, you won't trade him. I don't think so. But you know, yeah. Well, why would he? He's got a good quarterback. Keep him. I think there's going to be maybe not as much trading activity as we think. Although maybe the trades will come after we can trade in season in this league, right?
One trade in season.
One trade in season.
You can do one trade in season, yeah, per team.
Interesting. But is there a deadline?
Yeah, second quarter. In the second quarter.
So halfway through the year, you could make a trade.
Yep.
Like
but it cannot involve the quarterback or a halfback card. So only.
So if you want a quarterback
receivers.
card, you got to do it before the start of the season.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So what quarterbacks are going to be out there realistically?
Nobody.
Tannehill's hit.
Yeah.
I think Miami has 2 quarterbacks.
Tannehill.
Tannehill and Stafford are the guys on the block. And Stafford's got the nasty interception split on deep passes.
Yep.
So for me, I feel like I'm better off just let me just use Wentz this year.
Yeah, that's what I said about Jimmy G. Let him step out of the back of the end zone for me for a while, and we'll just go with him.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It is what it is.
And Aiden, Tampa.
Yes. So I felt my strategy was going for this year, just because it's B status. So I felt like if I want to try to build a team for the long term, I'm better off doing it when I have A status guys. So like Dak, I spent 66 on him. I don't know if he's going to be a great long-term option, but he's got a great card this year. So I paid up for him. Mixon, I would.
One second, Aiden. Just when you talk about the B status stuff. So, Anthony, can you explain real quick? So, in the charter it says guys with the B status next year we will have to decide either to keep them at their current price for one more year or to extend them. Is that right?
Correct. Or drop them. Yep.
So you can keep everybody on your roster at the same price for one more year next off season, or you extend them per the Constitution, which is adding salary and years to their contract.
Correct.
Yeah, just wanted to clear that because you make a great point. You were right on it. On B status does influence. It can have a big influence on the direction you take.
Yes. Like with Dak. Dak obviously is hurt right now, so played poorly in his first game too. So I don't know if I'm going to keep him next year. But this year, by the ratings guy, he has the second best card. So who knows? a lot of guys were like that, where I just drafted guys because they had a good rating this year, and they're not necessarily going to be good in the future. Like George Fant, I don't even think he's starting right now. Spent 26 on him, but he's a 4.7, so that's nice. Yeah, I mean, one thing I felt like is it wasn't worth it to go over 40. So outside of Prescott, I didn't really spend more than $40 on a guy. I felt like it was better to go like in the 20 to 30 range than spend a lot more on higher value players. Though obviously those guys are either those are the guys who are good long term, so that kind of blended in with that. I think I'm average good, which I'm pretty happy with. I don't know how many good pass defenses there are, but I'm one of them. Offensive line, I spent too much on. Like 26 on George Fant is just not a good move. 16 David Edwards, another bad move. 4.5. But I mean, Prescott's going to be protected, so it is what it is.
Yeah, you got a good line out of it, right?
Yeah,
Who's your center? Oh, there he is. Yeah. Brian.
Yeah. I'm not unhappy with my line. I just wish I could have gotten better value for it. That's how I feel, but I'm sure everyone feels like that. One other thing too is I made a bad mistake where I spent $12 on a guy when I was bidding on the wrong guy, like a nickelback. K'Wan Williams. I thought I got it mixed up and was bidding on thought I was bidding on a different guy and got him for 12. When, I mean, 4 nickels are, you get that for $1. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my team. I feel like I'm pretty balanced.
Mixon has got to, Mixon at 34. A lot of guys right in that 30 range, right? A lot of those halfbacks went 25, 35.
Yeah, I saw they were flying off the board and knew I had to grab one. I mean, flat pass equals pass, so you need to have a guy with carries.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. You did well at the defensive end. I know you waited till the second day. You're probably pretty nervous about what you were going to get there, and you got 4 5s, which are playable.
Oh, yeah, no, I was worried I was going to be poor against the run. I was checking and double checking I could get to average.
Yeah, you did a good job there.
Thank you. I was quite happy with that.
Any more thoughts on Tampa? All right. Well, I hope to get this thing cleaned up tomorrow, this file, and hope to have it out tomorrow, so we have something good to work with. And then we have trading starts tomorrow. Anybody there's a few guys that got to get me cuts. I'll make sure to flag it to you tomorrow morning. But do yourself a favor, please, and just get them to me. Get them to me if you got them, and then we'll trade, and then we will have our roster deadline coming up, supplemental, that sort of thing, next week. And I think we start playing not next week, but the week after. So maybe 10 days away, something like that. Not too far away. Cool. Any other thoughts?
Thank you, sir, for a great day. Great draft both days, actually.
Sure thing.
You and Mike and Dennis did a great job.
Yes.
And just bringing this whole concept of the auction draft into Strat is like just so awesome.
Yes. And maybe if we do have a spring league, it'll be really interesting to see what these same cards go for. Right?
Yeah.
That'll be the ultimate do-over. Say we all of us rejoin for the spring league. That'll be very interesting.
Yep.
I wonder what we could do with a mash of the auction style, but with battle royale format where you're bidding on units. That might be something crazy.
Yeah.
In a non-keeper league, you're bidding
That's
on
too
those
much
10
to think
units.
about, Dennis.
Wow, Dennis, that sounds awesome. If you could pull that off for the next battle royale.
I don't know. No, I'm just talking. I just.
Nope. You committed. Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Well, that's an interesting idea for battle royale. It'd be I'd miss not having to watch the local lotteries. across the
Oh,
country.
right.
But otherwise, I like the sound of that. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. We will be in touch tomorrow with more. Till
So
then,
now that you've done this, though, I mean, it seems like more likely you could pull off a spring league without as much drama, as a little bit easier for you, or what?
oh yeah, for sure.
And I
Good.
think it would be like, it's so unique and cool. And I think all of us would be like really fun to see, like, because it really is a do-over. I mean, other than you have more information about in play this season, which affects obviously some of the things, but still, it's going to be essentially a do-over for the most part.
It would be really interesting. I think what we'd find is that the dollars really flatten out, right? If you put everything on a bell curve right now, it would be a U, right? It would be this big U. See a lot of $1, a lot of big guys, and not much in the middle. If we did it over, that curve would flatten.
Yeah,
That would happen. Yeah, for sure. Offensive, probably no offensive lineman. Maybe a couple would touch 30. You know, Quentin Nelson might get 30, right?
and people would just be trying to be more disciplined of saving their money and looking at how much money other people have, and not getting to the end with, $1.
Yeah, exactly. We shall see. I would like to do that, but one step at a time. Let's get this.
Yes.
Let's get this file straight, and we'll get it out tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Lawrence.
Bye.
Have a good night. All right, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.